So this is probably an approximation of the ASMR voice, and we got some fire going. Flux, thanks for redeeming a little ASMR story. And we're going to be reading from the Wikipedia article describing insanity. Oh my god, I just saw a bug. Don't worry, I got it, it's fine. Insanity, madness, and craziness are terms that describe a spectrum of individual and group behaviours that are characterised by certain abnormal mental or behavioural patterns. Insanity can be manifest as violations of societal norms, including a person or persons becoming a danger to themselves or to other people. What the fuck are you guys linking? Oh my god, Fido, please stop. Conceptually, mental insanity also is associated with the biological phenomenon of contagion, that mental illness is infectious, as in the case of copycat suicides. In contemporary usage, the term insanity is an informal, unscientific term denoting mental instability. Thus, the term insanity defense is the legal definition of mental instability. In medicine, the general term psychosis is used to include the presence either of delusions or of hallucinations, or both in a patient. The psychiatric illness in psychopathology, not mental insanity. In English, the word sane derives from the Latin adjective sanus, meaning healthy. Juvenal's phrase mens sana in corpore sano is often translated to mean a healthy mind in a healthy body. From this perspective, insanity can be considered as poor health of the mind, not necessarily of the brain as an organ, although that can affect mental health, but rather refers to defective function of mental processes such as reasoning. Another Latin phrase related to our current concept of sanity is compos mentis, literally sound of mind, and a euphemistic term for insanity is non-compos mentis. In law, mens rea means having had criminal intent or a guilty mind when the act, actus reus, was committed. Why is there so much Latin in this? There's so much Latin in this fucking thing. A more informal use of the term insanity is to denote something or someone considered highly unique, passionate, or extreme, including in a positive sense. The term may also be used as an attempt to discredit or criticize particular ideas, beliefs, principles, desires, personal feelings, attitudes, or their proponents, such as in politics and religion. I'm not reading all of it. I've done the intro bit. There is so much more to this. How long have we been doing this? It feels like it's been 8 years. Do you want to do historical views and treatments? In medicine's quite short. How much of this should we do? Are you happy with just the thing? It's been like 3 minutes. That's quite a lot. You want all of it? What if I just said it so that we do the main bulk? Because historical views and treatments is the same length again. All of it, oh, for fuck's sake. Fine, right, we'll keep going. Someone is going to send me the longest Wikipedia article. Madness, the non-legal word for insanity, has been recognised throughout history in every known society. Some traditional cultures have turned to witch doctors or shamans to apply magic, herbal mixtures, or folk medicine to rid deranged persons of evil spirits or bizarre behaviour. Archaeologists have unearthed skulls at least 7,000 years old that have small round holes bored into them using flint tools. It has been conjectured that the subjects may have been thought to have been possessed by spirits, which the holes would allow to escape. However, more recent research on the historical practice of trepanning supports the hypothesis that this procedure was medical in nature and intended as a means of treating cranial trauma. The Greeks appeared to share something of today's secular and holistic view, believing that afflictions of the mind did not differ from diseases of the body. Moreover, they saw mental and physical illness as a result of natural causes and an imbalance in bodily humours. Hippocrates frequently wrote that an excess of black bile resulted in irrational thinking and behaviour. Romans made other contributions to psychiatry, in particular a precursor of some contemporary practice. They put forward the idea that strong emotions could lead to bodily ailments, the basis of today's theory of psychosomatic illness. The Romans also supported humane treatment of the mentally ill, and in doing so, codified into law the principle of insanity as a mitigation of responsibility for criminal acts. I just said criminal weird. Although the criterion for insanity was sharply set as the defendant had to be found non compos mentis, a term meaning not sound of mind. The Middle Ages, however, witnessed the end of the progressive ideas of the Greeks and Romans. During the 18th century, the French and the British introduced humane treatment of the clinically insane, though the criteria for diagnosis and placement in an asylum were considerably looser than today, often including such conditions as speech disorder, speech impediments, epilepsy and depression, or being pregnant out of wedlock. Europe's oldest asylum was the precursor of today's Bethlem Royal Hospital in London, known then as Bedlam, which began admitting the mentally ill in 1403 and is mentioned in Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. The first American asylum was built in Williamsburg, Virginia, circa 1773. Before the 19th century, these hospitals were used to isolate the mentally ill or the socially ostracized from society rather than to cure them or maintain their health. Pictures from this era portrayed patients bound with rope or chains, often to beds or walls, or restrained in straitjackets. Right, that's all the ASMR you get.